Domestic express deliveries last year shattered all records, with nearly 175 billion parcels shipped. But there are growing pains, including a shortage of drivers.
Actually, truck driver is a very well-paid job in China in terms of a blue-collar job. But a young person, they'd rather to do the food delivery, which earn much less.
Jeep just did the unthinkable. A fully electric pickup truck, ready for the road, and it costs just $8,000. Not a toy, not a concept. A real truck, built to work and built for the world. This thing just flipped the entire auto market on its head, and no one, not Ford, not Tesla, not anyone, saw it coming. But how did they build it so cheap? Can it actually compete? And what does this mean for the future of EVs? Stay with us, because this story could change how we think about trucks forever. The 8K Shockwave Jeep just dropped a bomb on the auto world, and no one saw it coming. We're not talking about a concept or a prototype that might show up in 2030. No, this is real. It's production ready. It's road legal. And it's coming in at a price that's making every auto exec sweat. An all-electric pickup truck priced under $8,000. Let that sink in. $8,000. Fully electric. Jeep. This isn't a stripped-down golf cart or a glorified scooter. It's a rugged, practical truck aimed directly at the working class and emerging markets, where utility, not luxury, runs the show. And it's not being built in Detroit or Europe. Jeep's launching early production in Brazil and India, using local supply chains to slash costs and skirt around global tariffs. This move undercuts every major automaker in the EV truck space. Ford, Rivian, Tesla. They're all suddenly looking overpriced and over-engineered. One industry analyst said it best, this isn't just price disruption, it's an earthquake. Because Jeep didn't just enter the electric truck market, they blew it wide open. And here's where it gets winding. This truck isn't just cheap, it's actually usable. That's what makes it dangerous for the competition. It's not trying to impress Wall Street. It's built to move bricks, carry gear, and handle the grind. So how did Jeep build something so bold for so little? Let's talk about what this 8K beast can actually do. Built for utility, not luxury. This truck isn't made for tech bros or luxury buyers. It's built for work, period. And that's where Jeep flips the script. Instead of stuffing the vehicle with smart assistants, massage seats, or oversized touchscreens, they focused on the essentials and nailed them. The truck offers a 200-mile range, enough for rural routes and day-to-day jobs. It supports solar-assisted trickle charging, so you can juice it up even off-grid. It also features regenerative braking, capturing energy while you slow down. Inside, it's rugged and waterproof. Think water-resistant vinyl interiors, tough plastic panels, and modular storage beds that can be customized depending on the job, from farming gear to delivery boxes. There's no 15-inch OLED display or facial recognition ignition. Instead, you get a basic infotainment system, a reverse camera, and simple, durable controls. Because if something breaks, it shouldn't take a rocket scientist or a $1,000 repair bill to fix it. It's not pretty, it's not polished, but it gets the job done. Optional off-road tires, easily replaceable components, and an intentionally low-tech design make it perfect for farmers, tradespeople, and small business owners. And that's the point. Stellantis didn't try to build the future of luxury EVs. They built the future of affordable, no-nonsense electric work trucks. So how'd they pull this off? To understand the genius behind this 8K price tag, we need to look under the hood and deep inside Stellantis' global parts bin. How Jeep did it. So how in the world did Jeep build a functional electric pickup truck for less than $8,000? They stitched it together like Frankenstein, using smart shortcuts, existing platforms, and some serious battery magic. The heart of this truck? Battery tech supplied by BYD, the Chinese EV juggernaut known for its cheap, durable LFP batteries. Lithium iron phosphate. These batteries don't have the high range of Teslas, but they're tough, scalable, and way cheaper. Then there's the chassis. Jeep didn't start from scratch. They borrowed from Fiat's compact commercial vehicle lineup, giving the truck a proven, production-ready frame that could be adapted instead of reinvented. Add to that Stellantis' shared parts strategy, using mirrors, lights, suspension systems, and wiring already in production across Dodge, Peugeot, and Citroën. That means no custom parts, no fancy tooling, just smart reuse of what's already working. And it doesn't stop there. Assembly is localized. Jeep is building the truck where it's being sold. Brazil and India first, avoiding massive shipping costs and dodging import tariffs. Even the supply chain is getting an upgrade. Stellantis is using AI-driven logistics to optimize part sourcing, reduce storage waste, and keep everything running lean and fast. It's not innovation, it's adaptation at its finest. Instead of designing a masterpiece for the showroom floor, Jeep reverse-engineered what wasn't needed, then trimmed it out, /com, and doubled down on function. And now that they've cracked the formula, Jeep's aiming straight at the global stage. Because the 8K truck, it's not staying in Brazil and India. Targeting the global underserved Jeep isn't just building a cheap truck. They're building it for the forgotten half of the planet. The 8K EV pickup is launching first in Brazil and India, but Stellantis has already confirmed plans to export it to over 30 countries across Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. These are regions where gas is expensive, EV adoption is low, and infrastructure is barely hanging on. But the demand, it's massive. Farmers, small fleets, tradesmen, and delivery drivers in rural and peri-urban areas have been priced out of the EV market until now. Jeep is seizing this moment by building solar-powered mobile charging stations in the same places the trucks are launching. These aren't Tesla superchargers. They're low-cost, slow-charge, off-grid systems designed to work even where the power grid doesn't. They're also working with local governments in Brazil and India to subsidize purchases, offer tax breaks, and help with infrastructure rollouts. It's not just a truck, it's a strategy to leapfrog traditional gas vehicles altogether. This isn't an EV for cities, it's an EV for the world. And if Stellantis pulls this off, they won't just win customers. They'll dominate entire emerging auto markets before legacy brands can even react. But here's the twist. While the truck wasn't designed for the US, rumors are flying that rural America might be next. Could it hit rural America next? At first, Stellantis was quiet about US plans. After all, the American truck market is dominated by massive, luxury-loaded pickups. But now, there are whispers inside the company that this 8K electric Jeep could hit rural America sooner than anyone thought. Why do you? Because the demand is there, and no one's filling it. Farmers, tradespeople, and rural small businesses are getting priced out of EVs. Even the affordable options like the Ford Maverick or Hyundai Santa Cruz are pushing $25,000, $30,000 before dealer markups. Stellantis sees the gap. And if they can bring this budget pickup in under low-speed vehicle or agricultural exemptions, it could bypass major regulatory hurdles and land on farms, ranches, and job sites across the Midwest and South. It won't be about tech. It won't be about performance. It'll be about value, utility, and owning a truck that works, not wows. Sources say Stellantis is considering pilot programs in states like Texas, Iowa, and Alabama, places where trucks are king and cost matters more than touchscreen size. And if the truck proves successful in rural America, it could force Ford, GM, and even Tesla to rethink their entire EV playbook. Because what Jeep's doing isn't just bold, it's dangerous to the status quo. Compared to the competition, it's not even close. Let's be real, when you stack Jeep's 8K electric pickup against the competition, it's not even a fair fight. The Ford F-150 Lightning starts at over $55,000. The Rivian R1T, that'll cost you $70K, if you can even find one. And the Tesla Cybertruck? Still mostly hype, still delayed, and priced like a spaceship. And yet here comes Jeep, rolling out a fully electric, work-ready pickup for under $8,000. That's not just disruptive, it's demolition. This Jeep doesn't offer self-driving or Enduro 60 in 3 seconds. It doesn't come with ambient lighting or auto-opening doors. What it does offer is torque, traction, and payload capacity at a price that completely rewrites the EV truck equation. One analyst didn't hold back. Jeep just reminded the world that electric vehicles don't have to be luxury toys. And that's what makes this truck dangerous for rivals. While everyone else is chasing high margins with high-tech features, Jeep went the other way, betting on volume over flash, utility over luxury. It's the first EV truck from a major global brand to say, maybe EVs don't need to cost more than your house. And while Tesla fans and Ford loyalists debate software updates and cyber aesthetics, Jeep just delivered a product for millions of buyers who want something simple, reliable, and affordable. This isn't just a pricing war, it's a paradigm shift. Jeep is telling the world electric trucks can be basic, durable, and cheap, and still be game changers. And to make this all hit harder, they didn't slap on a new sub-brand or hide behind a weird name. They made sure it's still a Jeep, it's still a Jeep. Here's where Jeep did something brilliant. They didn't call this a budget EV. They didn't spin off a new sub-brand. They didn't hide behind technical jargon. They called it what it is, a Jeep. And that branding move might be the smartest play in the whole strategy, because while the truck is stripped down in features, it still carries decades of rugged legacy. In global markets, that Jeep badge carries weight. It means off-road, it means reliability, it means freedom, even at $8,000. One South American auto dealer said, people won't touch no-name Chinese pickups, but if it's a Jeep, they listen. This decision instantly gave the truck credibility in emerging markets flooded with generic, unknown brands. It connects the ultra-budget EV directly to the gritty, go-anywhere image Jeep has cultivated since Whip 2. And it's not just about looks. Jeep is leaning into its roots by offering optional off-road packages, tough modular add-ons, and terrain-ready upgrades, all without blowing the price out of the water. Even in markets like India and Brazil, where price is king, buyers still want identity, and Jeep delivers both. Affordability plus authenticity. That's the branding trick no one else pulled off. Wuling, anonymous. BYD, gaining ground, but still unfamiliar in many regions. Tesla, too expensive and too urban for these markets. But Jeep is a name that translates across languages and incomes. And in a global pickup war where image matters just as much as utility, branding might be the secret weapon. Now, Jeep isn't entering a vacuum. It's stepping into a space already filled with budget trucks. But this time, it's bringing electric to the budget battlefield. The global budget truck boom. Believe it or not, Jeep isn't the first to chase the low-cost pickup crowd. In fact, there's already a full-blown arms race happening in the global budget truck space, and it's heating up fast. In China, the Wuling Zheng2 is a 9K gas-powered pickup that's been dominating rural markets. It's not flashy, but it works, and it sells. Toyota's Hilux Champ, a diesel-powered workhorse, rules in Southeast Asia. And the Chevy Montana, a crossover pickup hybrid, is holding ground across Latin America. But none of them, not one, is electric. That's where Jeep comes in with the biggest twist in the game. By entering this already competitive space with a zero-emissions work truck, Jeep leapfrogs over the ICE models and positions itself as the first mover in the affordable electric utility segment. One industry strategist said it clearly, Jeep might be late to the budget truck party, but they showed up with the future. And that's exactly why this could work. While the others compete on mileage and parts availability, Jeep's offering a quiet, clean, low-maintenance EV alternative with range, durability, and real-world utility. For countries where fuel prices are punishing and emissions regulations are tightening, this isn't just appealing, it's necessary. And while the competition still leans on fossil fuels, Jeep is going electric without going expensive. That changes everything. The budget truck war just got its first real EV warrior. And with the backing of Stellantis' global footprint, this battle's only just begun. So how is Stellantis planning to make money off such a cheap truck? They're playing the long game. Profit through volume, not margin. At $8,000 per unit, Nobody's getting rich off a single sale, bam, bam, and Stellantis knows it. That's why this entire strategy is built around one idea. Volume beats margin. Stellantis is betting big on scale. With access to 14 brands and dozens of existing production lines, the company can churn out parts and platforms faster and cheaper than smaller rivals. They're also leveraging low-cost labor markets by retrofitting existing plants in India and Brazil, not building expensive new gigafactories. That slashes overhead and speeds up rollout. Add to that government incentives, export subsidies, and reduced EV tariffs in key markets, and the profit math starts making sense. An insider at Stellantis said, "We're not making 20K per truck. We're making 800, but we'll sell 200,000. That kind of scale makes the 8K price tag not just viable, but disruptive. It's the classic razor-thin margin, mass production model. And it's worked before. Just look at the success of budget phones in developing nations or cheap motorcycles in Asia. If this works, Stellantis won't just sell trucks. They'll dominate entire market categories others can't even touch. It's a high-risk, high-reward play. But in a world where most automakers are chasing margins, Jeep is chasing massive adoption. But not everyone's convinced. Some experts think the plan is bold. Others think it's suicide. What experts are saying, reactions across the auto world have ranged from stunned excitement to open skepticism. But one thing's clear, Jeep just changed the conversation. They cracked the EV code, said one top analyst. This is the first electric truck for the 99%. Others aren't so sure. Wall Street is split. Some investors worry that Stellantis is playing with fire, shrinking margins in an industry that's already tight. Others see a long-term disruption strategy that could rewrite how EVs are priced, built, and sold. And the ripple effects, already starting. Suppliers are now being pressured to pivot away from expensive lithium-ion and cobalt-heavy batteries and shift toward cheaper LFP chemistry, just like Jeep used here. That could completely shift the global battery supply chain. Some insiders even predict that GM and Ford may be forced to launch low-cost EV divisions or risk losing emerging markets entirely. This might be the most important EV release of the decade, not because of tech, but because of timing. But there's one thing everyone agrees on. Jeep didn't just build a truck. They built a market, one that didn't exist until now. And the only question left? Will the industry follow or fall behind? Are we ready for massive adoption? An 8K electric pickup might sound perfect, until you ask, where do you charge it? That's the next big hurdle Jeep has to clear. Because unlike high-end EVs aimed at wealthy urban drivers with at-home chargers or Tesla-style networks, this truck is built for places where infrastructure barely exists. But here's where Jeep flips the script again. Instead of trying to replicate expensive fast-charging stations, Jeep is building its own system from the ground up, one designed for rural, off-grid, and low-income areas. They're rolling out solar-assisted charging stations, capable of trickle charging these work trucks over several hours without needing a stable power grid. And in some regions, they're even testing swappable battery units, an idea that's been tried before, but never seriously deployed at scale. The concept is simple. You pull up, swap your depleted pack for a charged one, and get back to work in minutes. It's already being piloted in rural India, where energy infrastructure can be unpredictable at best. This approach won't replace Tesla superchargers. It's not supposed to. Instead, Jeep is aiming for good enough EV charging in areas where the alternative is no EVs at all. Experts are starting to notice. One mobility analyst said, Jeep isn't just selling a truck, they're forcing a rethink of the entire EV ecosystem. And that's a big deal. Because if they can make charging work in off-grid villages and farm towns, what excuse do wealthier regions have? This low-tech, decentralized model could actually leapfrog traditional infrastructure, especially in countries where laying down thousands of miles of EV-ready grid just isn't realistic. Of course, it won't be easy. The rollout is going to take time, coordination, and constant adaptation. But if Jeep can make it work, even at a small scale, it's going to set a blueprint that every other automaker will have to watch. And just when the industry thought the EV fight was about the vehicles, Jeep reminded everyone, infrastructure is the real battleground. That brings us to a deeper shakeup that's already starting behind the scenes. And it has the potential to completely shift the global power structure in EVs. Supply chain earthquake. Beneath the headlines, the real shockwave isn't the truck, it's what built it. Because behind Jeep's 8K pickup is a supply chain earthquake that's already rattling the auto world. And it all starts with one name, BYD. That's the Chinese battery giant fueling Jeep's budget EV with cheap, durable, and scalable LFP batteries. And that one partnership could shift the balance of power in global EV manufacturing overnight. For years, Western automakers have relied on high-cost lithium-ion cells loaded with cobalt and nickel. But those materials are expensive, ethically controversial, and often come from unstable regions. BYD's LFP chemistry ditches the cobalt, keeps costs low, and fits the needs of work vehicles perfectly. And now that Jeep proved you can build an 8K EV with it, the rush is on. Suppliers across Asia are scaling up production. Raw material contracts are shifting. Stellantis is even setting up new battery facilities in Brazil, designed to localize production and dodge U.S. tariffs, a move that could cut costs even further. This isn't just about one truck, said a veteran industry insider. It's about control. Jeep just took control of the cheap EV supply chain, and the rest of the world wasn't ready. Meanwhile, Western suppliers are scrambling to respond. Legacy battery producers in the US and Europe are facing tough questions from automakers who now realize they've been building too expensive, too slow, and for the wrong buyers. And the fallout could go beyond cars. LFP battery demand is now spiking for scooters, buses, delivery vans, and even grid storage units. Jeep's truck may have opened the floodgates to a new industrial model, one that prioritizes volume and accessibility over perfection and prestige. What's scary for the competition? Jeep's not alone. Other Stellantis brands, from Fiat to Citroën, are now exploring similar low-cost EV strategies using the same supply lines. And that means we may be looking at the first wave of a true global EV affordability war. But with all the hype, one question remains. Will this bold move reshape the industry or backfire completely? That's what we're asking next. Will the industry follow or fail? Now that the dust is starting to settle, one thing is crystal clear. Jeep didn't just release a cheap EV, they launched a revolution. This 8K electric truck is more than just a product. It's a statement, a challenge to the world's biggest automakers that says, you don't need 60,000 and a touchscreen palace to build something that matters. For years, we've been told EVs had to be expensive, elite, and complex. But Jeep just blew that myth to pieces. They focused on simplicity and scale. And in doing so, they've forced every other player, from Tesla to Toyota, to rethink their roadmap. And now the pressure's on. Ford, GM, Hyundai, even BYD themselves, all are staring down this 8K disruptor and asking, can we compete at this level? Can we make EVs for the farmer in Kansas, the delivery driver in Nairobi, the contractor in rural Brazil? Because if they can't, and if Jeep can deliver at scale, this truck could become the Model T of electric utility vehicles. Not because it's fancy, but because it's everywhere. This is a wake-up call, one auto exec told Bloomberg. Jeep didn't just build a truck, they built a new market. But here's the flip side. If Jeep can't deliver on durability, if supply chains buckle, or if governments pull subsidies, this could collapse just as fast. And in that case, it becomes a cautionary tale about chasing volume too hard, too fast. So what's it going to be? A revolution that drags the industry forward, or a warning that budget EV dreams don't survive reality? Only time will tell, but one thing's certain, the game has changed, and nothing in the auto world will ever be the same again. So there it is. Jeep's 8K pickup might just be the boldest move in EV history. Will others follow or fall behind? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching. More soon.